So that's my opinion on that matter.
And even Kyle Gill's got his own set of tropes. The confident gay male fox, the
Yeah.
closeted male who's coming out, and it's, yeah, but it's still enjoyable because he gives it his own spin each time, and yeah, that's the difference between a good story and bad.
On that level, is it worth looking at what's popular now? Maybe there's sort of what Kyle goes with or whatever, and not ripping off the idea or anything like that, but maybe writing something along a similar line
Absolutely.
in the way of trying to get maybe more people to read your stuff, because that's what sort of...
And that's what traditional press would do. They'd say, oh, these books are really popular right now, go and write a Twilight novel, and that's sort of how it works.
Okay, now that's going a little
Yeah,
too
I
far.
think you have to. I think you have to write what is meaningful to you,
Mhm.
and if it happens to be something that's meaningful to a lot of other people, and it results in stories that have similar
Yeah.
themes, that's fine. You know, I think setting out to say I'm going to write the next out of position is probably a recipe for disaster.
Probably in those terms. But on the other hand, writers like artists and craftsmen, I mean, we're not just projecting the deepest, darkest secrets of our inner soul on the canvas all the time. We're also just practicing the craft. You're drawing beautiful things, right? And it doesn't necessarily always have to be what is inside your soul and desperately needs to come out. You know, you do commissions and stuff. Like, I know some people here have maybe done writing commissions. I know I haven't. It was a fucking abortion. Commissions for writers, it's never going to work.
I can't do it.
That's my job. It's not ever going to work.
I'm on my second commission writing right now, and it's working beautifully.
I can't.
All right, well that's just freakish.
Get out!
No, but what I mean is, as a craftsman, you do have to practice your ability to just produce something. You know, you're not always inspired, and when you're not inspired, what do? You look out the window and you look at the first thing that catches your fancy, and that becomes the subject for your next piece or for your next. You know, you look for inspiration, or as a substitute, just some guiding clues from which you can construct a narrative or an image or whatever, just because you want to write, because you want to draw. And looking at what's popular right now is perfectly valid.
On the commission front, I found that I know that I've had a lot of people saying to me, writing commissions that can't work. There's too much content that you need to put in from yourself to make it match somebody else's idea for writing. And when I first go to someone who has expressed an interest in a commission, I'll ask them a couple of very, very direct questions about what they want to try and get some inspiration from them. I mean, the stories that they've inspired me to write would have never happened if they hadn't come to me with either their own interesting ideas or something that I could sort of squeeze out of them that turned into an interesting story.
How does it relate to your experience with this because we both do commissions as well, so you're both very busy in the dealer's den, huddled over a piece of paper,
Story of our life.
bleary-eyed and dry-tongued.
I don't know, it's different. I think it's different for artists than it is for writers, because you're talking about it being an abortion. I think for artists, I love it. I mean, if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. I'd say, no, I'm not drawing anything, I'm only drawing my own thing, forget it. But I actually enjoy it. So I like to get other people's ideas and characters, because there's something that I might not either draw or an idea for, and it's interesting to take different directions and say, oh yeah, I'd like to give that a shot. What if I could do that? Let's see.
And is it generally easy to please the commissioner?
Well,
Now, that sounds like a giggle we want to hear more about in a second.
it varies from person to person. Some people want to be very particular about what they want. Other people are very open. Some people are easy to please. Some people, like you say, you can't please everyone, are impossible to please. It varies, and some people will just flat out not tell you. They'll pretend to be
That's
happy,
the
and then
worst.
you're kind of wondering,
That's the worst.
did they really, really like it, or are they just pretending to like it?
Suggested that I think really an artist's base commission rate should be the base rate and then $1 for every minute it takes them to describe the character that they want you to draw.
It's gotten a lot better. I mean, I remember years ago, you'd spend an hour, 2 hours sometimes because you had to read the whole entire story. But more and more people are starting to understand that as the fandom grows, they can't spend that kind of time with writers or artists or anyone they want to commission. So they're starting to create things like character sheets.
Mhm.
So they'll say, okay, here's my character, this is what I want, and then they'll come up with a theme or something. And even the sketchbooks are kind of a dying art. Now people just have it on paper because, you know, they don't want to bring a book full of art because if it gets lost,
Yeah.
I've lost
it's
it
a
all.
lot to lose. So, you know, every time you go to an artist, you're trusting them to not lose it.
That's true.
And then you can only commission one artist at a time.
Right, and that was another big one because artists would get so booked up and they're like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I was so busy or I was up all night and I didn't quite get to it, so I promise I'll get it. And yeah, then you maybe get a sketch or two at a con with a book, or you got to carry around several books and then you're talking about weight problems. So the best way is paper now. And I like it. I don't have to carry around a whole bunch of heavy books. Mind you, I miss looking at what the
Yes.
other artists do. But I seriously love doing it. It's just fun, and we're getting smarter as an artist as to the best way to have them describe things. We'll have like little sheets that they can fill out. Some are contracts. Some are just little scribble pages that they can write notes on. And I was trying to find where I was going.
Is it easy to please people who request commissions? Is the original.
Oh. Well, it's funny. I think I actually want more of a response than I do one.
Yeah.
I want feedback.
Yeah.
I want to see them smile because that makes me smile. I'm happy when they're happy. I mean, they can give me $500, but if they frown, it's just going to ruin everything. I'll be so upset and go, what did I do wrong? Instead of, oh yeah, whatever, you know, I got the money.
Take the money and run.
As artists, you're just so overly sensitive that you heavily rely on what people think. And I don't know if writers are the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, we're desperate for feedback. And it's like, do you like it? Should I continue? Is it still good? Should I keep going over here? Should I add another character over here? What do we do?
I think with stories, it's the feedback of, well, that was good. And you're like, it was
Yeah.
5,000 words. Do you have more to say than that?
I wish I was that fox.
Well, people are saying, good, then where's the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's at least something, you know?
Yeah.
Although, as a writer, I think I found that people just spend more and more paragraphs saying, I wish I was that fox. So far.
Well, and some people just don't know how to express why they like it. So the best way they can come up with is, I really liked it.
I came. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so for
I came,
meeting
I
that
saw,
counter.
I came.
Now, Rukis, do you have any nightmare stories to tell us about commissions? I think there has to be at least one.
Yeah, all right, well, I won't mention the name because that would be rude. But no, I've had some difficult commissioners. Perhaps I'm too freeform in the way I do commissions to be like a really effective commissioned artist like Dark Natasha is. Because sometimes I'll take an idea and I'll kind of run with it, and it's not what the commissioner had in mind. And it generally comes into adding more things into the picture than they initially requested. Like my dragons I'm told, are too scaly and too horny, and they have all these little, you know, details everywhere that make them look scary, not cute. But, you know, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons player. I'm an old school nerd, but to me, dragons are not cute. So I don't draw cute dragons. I'm sorry. You know, and I think, honestly, now I'm at a point where I don't have to accept a whole ton of commissions. I used to be ridiculously poor, like nearly homeless, two years or so ago. Now I'm at a point where I'm doing well enough that I don't constantly need to take commissions and lowball them. But back in the day, I dealt with some commissioners who, I mean, they use you like slave wages. And they want, you know, they want this changed and they want this changed. And, you know, when you're working for 20 hours on a piece that you've been paid $50 for, you start to question what you're doing.
Yeah.
And when you get really disenfranchised with a commission, you tend to go, I'm going to put that aside for a little while, and then your response time to them is slower, and they get angry, so then you have to deal with that. But the worst situation that I ever had with a commissioner was I was on time with everything, and I thought I was gonna, this is gonna be great. It was a well-paid commission. It was a person who I knew had commissioned a lot of other artists, so I was like, this is gonna be great. Until she showed me her character sheet, which was, I kid you not, 5 pages long. 5 pages long with images and story on all pages. Her character had 27 different forms, all of which were hybrids, all of which had different horn and color combinations, all of which had were forms, human forms, quasi-anthro forms, feral forms. And
Pick one.
the problem was that she had commissioned me for 3 different things. And I tried so hard to follow what she asked me, which form, with which horns, with which colors, feral or anthro, for each of the different commissions. And apparently, I really foobarred it up. And I tried so hard, and it was so frustrating, and it was a very bad experience. But, when you do that, when you deal with a bad commissioner, or they better not be a bad commissioner, it might just be that you don't meld well with them, you don't work well together. When you deal with an instance like that, just get through it the first time and keep in mind you don't ever have to work for them again. You make your own rules. So if I have an unpleasant experience with a commissioner, I generally don't work for them again, and that's how it goes. And it's not a vicious attack against their character or anything like that. It's just we didn't work well together. And that same sort of thing can come up when you're doing writing partnerships with people who are illustrating for you, or if you're trying to do a comic together or something like that. Sometimes you just don't work well together, especially if you're a dick like me. There are very few people that I work incredibly well with, so